friends, welcome back to Gamer SBR. 2020 is going to be a rather busy year for the fans of the RPG genre, with games like Outer Worlds and Cyberpunk 2077. Today we have made a list of the best 17 upcoming role-playing games of 2020. Cyberpunk 2077. It went from the ineffable stuff of dreams to an extremely real video game all in the space of weeks. And we're still reeling. The Cyberpunk 2077 release date is marked in big bold print on our calendars, and we found out that Keanu Reeves will be a digital ghost who lives in our brains. But we're just as excited for the little details too. Stuff like finding out how the smaller moments of life and romance will play out in our time in Night City, and what kind of minigames we can look forward to keeping us busy. Even since the show ended, developer CD Projekt Red has kept us sustained with a drip feed of furthermore info. We've learned more about the hardcore mode that will let you play with its stable UI, how cool motorcycles will get you around town and look so nice in your garage, how NiOh lets you hack both literally and figuratively, and much more. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Despite years of delays and staff shuffling, Square Enix has confirmed that the long-awaited Final Fantasy VII Remake will be released in multiple parts. A Japanese press release, translated by a Twitter user Hansuramu, confirmed that the release would still be split into parts like they originally said alongside when they announced the game in 2015. The original was sold in a single package on PlayStation 1, and some fans had started to believe that multiple delays would encourage Square Enix to ditch the episodic approach. We can safely put those thoughts to bed now. Square Enix has confirmed that the Final Fantasy VII Remake will launch exclusively on PS4 on March 3, 2020, in both physical and digital form. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Hardsuit Labs and Studio Paradox Interactive introduced the first trailer for Vampire: Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Additionally, the developers once again clarified that the release date for the game would be in the first quarter of 2020. The game will take place in Seattle, from the dark alleys and buildings to the bright lights of the Pioneer Square. The main character will be unwillingly turned into a vampire and then become involved in a war between vampire clans. The game will begin with a mass embrace that has many vampires being created all at once. The protagonist will take on the role of one of these vampires and will be welcomed to the world of the Masquerade by a fellow vampire. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 released sometime in early 2020 for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. Gods and Monsters. The Ubisoft E3 2019 showcase rounded off with an announcement trailer for a new Gods and Monsters game, one of the studio's most interesting upcoming release. The IP from the creator of Assassin's Creed Odyssey is described as storybook adventure set in fantastical open world of Greek mythology, with an enchanting painterly style that brings the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild to mind. The cinematic trailer gave us our first glimpse of the game's fantastical setting and some of the mythical creatures roaming in lush greenery. Beyond giving us a look at the style and revealing an official release date, it didn't give us too much insight. The announcement happily came with a reveal of an official Gods and Monsters release date. We'll be able to set off on a new journey in pretty mythological world on PC, Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch on February 25, 2020. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Dragon Ball fans have been keeping close eye on the next big video game in the franchise. Now officially titled Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, a new trailer for the game debuted during Microsoft E3 press conference and teased a much different game than fans had ever gotten from the series. But now that the new details about the new game tease that it just might be an even bigger game than fans had initially suspected. Bandai Namco shared new details for the game, teasing that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot will deliver the most accurate, dramatic, and epic telling of the Dragon Ball Z canon storyline, and will also present resolutions to long unanswered questions. It seems like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot will be opening up the franchise in a much different way than before, and Bandai Namco teases the fans will be able to fight, fish, eat, and train with Goku, further emphasizing the open-world gameplay found in video shared by IGN. Bandai Namco teases that players will be able to explore the new areas and adventures as you advance through the story and form powerful bonds with other heroes from the Dragon Ball Z universe. Though there are currently no details to what ways the game will expand on the franchise's story, it certainly makes it more exciting for fans to check out. Developed by Cyberpunk 2, the studio behind the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is officially slated to release on Xbox One, PS4, PC in early 2020. Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise is a brand new game in the Tales series, the first Tales game since 2016. The release date has been set for 2020. The JRPG has only just been revealed for the first time at E3 2019. So there is no reason to suspect it will be launching within next year or so. At the Xbox E3 2019 conference, we got our first look at Tales of Arise gameplay. We got glimpses of stylish combat with melee weapon and elemental monsters of the fire and ice towering above the battlefield. Tales of Arise will be releasing on PC, PS4 and Xbox One. Although it was announced at the Xbox E3, it won't be a console platform exclusive for Microsoft. NiOh 2. If you like 2017's NiOh, then rejoice is knowing that NiOh 2 is more of the same well-crafted action but with expanded gameplay elements. The original title delivered terrific combat style against a fantastic mythical Japanese backdrop, so more NiOh is certainly welcome. Developer Team Ninja recently tested NiOh 2 new mechanics and game balance with a closed alpha build to give fans and newcomers a chance to sample the play. It featured a new weapon and demon mode transformation, unique special abilities and radically streamlined menus. Combined with the original game's rock-solid combat foundation, NiOh's two new additions show tremendous promise. The game is slated for a future PlayStation 4 release. Project Awakening. Cygames has announced a new game, Project Awakening. The game will be a PlayStation 4 exclusive. It is a Japanese-developed action RPG featuring cutting-edge graphics and high fantasy setting. Project Awakening will feature an open world with a 4 to 12 player co-op, set in an orthodox high fantasy world. While trying not to give away too much, the Cygames producer explained how they want the game to focus on players teaming up to fight battles in a world akin to Game of Thrones or The Lord of the Rings. The game's combat will feature big boss battles, like seen in the trailer, and its scope will be close in size to games like Skyrim. This scope entails not just the size of the game world, but also the amount of things players can do within it. Trials of Mana. Trials of Mana originally released in 1995 as third part of Square Mana series, and better known in Japan as Seiken Densetsu 3. It's getting a full high-definition remake that's set to come out early next year. Trials of Mana tells the story of 6 adventurers who battle monsters to protect a world where the goddess of mana has been weakened following her battle with the 8 benevolents. Each playable character begins the game in a different location, but they eventually end up in the same place, where they can team up in parties of 3 to embark upon the same quest, save the dying mana tree, and prevent the benevolents from escaping their prison. Haven. Play as 2 lovers who escape to a lost planet. The only thing that matters is to stay together. A RPG to play solo or with a special someone. The game's 2 protagonists breathe life into a desolate world simply by moving around. The music is certainly lovely and is sure to be a highlight of Haven when it comes out in 2020. Surprisingly, their next game isn't going to be a sequel of 2015 Fury. Teaser aside, we don't know that there is some kind of RPG combat system in the game. Both characters have 4 abilities: Pacify, Impact, Blast, and Shield. Haven makes a point of emphasizing that the 2 characters are intended to stay together. Indeed, there will be some sort of cooperative play system built into the game. Developers mentioned that this would be an ideal game to share with a special someone. There will also be an option for solo play if you tend to be a bit more of a loner. Digimon Survive. Originally announced a year ago to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Digimon anime, Digimon Survive will see you join Takuma and Agumon, craft your story and fight your way back home in this survival simulation RPG. Digimon Survive is a tactical RPG with survival elements and an overall darker tone than most Digimon works. The game's story follows a male protagonist named Takuma and his classmate Minoru and Aoi, as they get transported to another dimension where Digimon and danger lurks. Takuma will also meet other characters. Digimon Survive story will ask players to make many different choices, deciding the fates of each character. For now, the game is scheduled to release in 2020 on PC, Xbox One, PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Minecraft Dungeons. Mojang first announced Minecraft Dungeons at Minecon in 2018, but we had to wait until E3 2019 to get our first glimpse at gameplay. It's set in the same world as the block-breaking sandbox we know and love. The art style is almost identical, but as a game, it's a very different beast. A new general, a new engine, new mechanics, new items and story. It's a complete rethink of the tried and tested Minecraft formula. In Minecraft dungeons, you must defeat the evil Arch-Illager, who has been kidnapping NPCs and generally causing a nuisance. The story unfolds over a series of levels, each with its own objectives, such as saving a particular character or defeating a mini-boss. Mojang says the story will be light touch and the focus is very much on combat and character progression. You have a chain of objectives you want to accomplish, but it's not like we have a massive narrative that you go through. Wasteland 3. An isometric, squad-based RPG set in a post-apocalyptic, ice-cold Colorado. Expect lots of dialogues, tactical turn-based combat, and a story that sees warring factions battle for control of the region. Its story is a direct sequel of 2014's Wasteland 2. Wasteland 3 will be out in spring of 2020. The original release window of 2019 was a bit too ambitious for inXile, which says that it's only able to hit a spring launch because it's been able to hire more staff thanks to support from the new parent company Microsoft. Wasteland 3 will also have an open early access period in late fall 2019, available for all backers who pledged at the early bird digital copy tier or above. Genshin Impact. NiOh, developers of Honkai Impact 3rd, announced Genshin Impact, a new open-world action RPG that is scheduled for a release in spring 2020. The game will be available for both PC and mobile devices, and you can sign up for the closed beta now. It's an open-world action RPG in the world of TVAP, where beliefs and the Seven converge. Epic adventures awaits fearless travelers. Empire of Sin. Empire of Sin takes place in Chicago crime network of the 1920s. In an era of flappers and gangsters. This turn-based strategy game allows players to live a life of organized crime and wage war in a whirlwind of sex, drugs, and murder. Aimed to release in spring of 2020, this title is coming to PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, PC, and Xbox One. There is a store page on Steam, so step back into the past, grab your Tommy gun, and suit up for this turn-based strategy game. The developers and publishers of Empire of Sin, Romero Games, and Paradox Interactive, respectively, ensure us that there are plenty of ways to climb your way to the top using violence, social influence, notoriety, and combination of three. You never get the same outcome twice when you're playing this game. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered. Square Enix has announced a Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition for PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android. The game will become available this winter in Crystal Chronicles. Players take on the role of the adventurer who is traveling in a caravan with the goal of gathering up mystical fuel for crystals. These crystals are crucial. They help keep the world protected from the destructive miasma. The single-player campaign has players escorting the vessel carrying the crystal's energy, and you'll need to defend it from enemies and solve puzzles in order to advance through the story. Previously, on the GameCube, there was multiplayer, but it was local only, and the only way to connect was using Game Boy Advance units through a link cable. In Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, there is now an online multiplayer mode, so you can play together with your friends. RUNE Ragnarok. RUNE Ragnarok is a sandbox open-world RPG set in dangerous Norse universe, where lords, beasts, and last remaining humans struggle to survive. It was foretold that during Ragnarok, the lords would fall and the 9 worlds would be consumed by frost and fire. This was foretold. But this is not what happened. The 9 worlds are frozen and crumbling under the weight of war while the lords live on. Now, mankind must rise and do what the lords cannot do. Ragnarok must end. Thank you for watching our videos. We work hard to make sure you keep coming back for the content we produce. And if you're not a subscriber yet, click on the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever a new video goes public. So see you then!